Good afternoon, everybody. On behalf of the OECD, I'd like to thank the European Commission for its support in organising this conference, and I'd also like to recognise the European Union's long-standing commitment, working with the OECD to support the greening of economic growth in the Eastern Partnership countries and in Central Asia. This partnership has evolved and strengthened over many years. I'd particularly like to recognise the support of Germany as a key OECD country that's contributed to this effort. And let me welcome our colleagues from the Eastern Partnership countries in Central Asia, with whom we've been working very closely for more than 20 years. Over the time, we've witnessed some deep political, economic and social transformations in your societies. Overall, the economies in the region have grown very significantly since the early 1990s, but almost all remain very energy and carbon intensive. There's a heavy domination still of fossil fuels. Now, of course, that's not unique to the region. It applies elsewhere in the world. Our entire economic system globally continues to foster reliance on fossil fuels as a key driver of economic growth and as a source of rents which go to governments. Climate policies have come along afterwards. They're policies that have been applied on top of policies that were put there to support a fossil-based economy. So moving to a greener economy, a low emissions economy, really does involve a transformational agenda that will mean new policies and new ways of thinking about policy. Now, that includes some obvious things which we've talked about at the OECD for a long time, like putting a price on carbon. But there are many other policies that need to be aligned, because if the economy is wired to make a fossil economy work smoothly, and that's what we all did, then even quite a high carbon price may not actually give you very impressive results. The economy may resist the attempt to move to low carbon because it's wired to support high carbon. We've actually produced a book entitled Aligning Policies for a Low Carbon Economy. We did this a little under 2 years ago to try to tease apart all the things which have made fossil so easy and might make moving to low emissions harder. And that's been an important piece of work. Of course, if you do align all your policies, and if the low carbon economy starts to take root, then of course there are consequences. There are transitional consequences, and there's the possibility of investments that have been made to support the fossil economy being stranded. And of course that creates a problem for companies, for investors, for governments, for communities. So this is no small thing, trying to make the transition to a low-carbon economy. It has to be a managed transition, and it has to be one that thinks carefully about the effects on ordinary people in their everyday lives trying to earn a living. Now, we think that the transition to a low-carbon economy is actually a big economic opportunity, and that's the good news. The other report we've produced in recent times, this one very recently for Germany's G20 presidency, is entitled Investing in Climate, Investing in Growth, because we think the two go together. All the countries in this region need to upgrade their infrastructure or build new infrastructure. Everyone's got big plans to build better societies, and there are some very big investments associated with that. So no shortage of projects and no shortage of finance for good projects. But of course, most of the money is going to have to come from the private sector. Public finance isn't going to be enough to meet those investment needs. And a key question for all of us is whether we're financing green, low emissions infrastructure, or whether we're just financing the same old, browner infrastructure. So it all comes back to governments creating the right conditions and incentives to stimulate financial and capital markets to invest in green projects. And there really is a time issue here, because many of these investments that we all need will have a long life. They will be around in 20, 30, 40 years. So they cast a heavy shadow over the future if they are emissions-intensive ones. So this is a very, very important time to be talking about unlocking private finance for energy efficiency and greener low-carbon growth. The Paris Agreement is expected to create many new investment opportunities. These will probably throw up new business models. So redirecting and aligning public finance and capital markets with the social goals which everyone has, which are encapsulated in the Sustainable Development Goals, is going to be the key. And it's starting to happen. It won't be an easy transition, but it does represent a major opportunity. And that is the message from our work on investing in climate and investing in growth. So along with the other international partners who've been at the forefront of these issues, the OECD has been and looks forward to providing analytical advice to underpin many of the issues that will be discussed during these next 2 days. We are committed to continue working with the governments of the Eastern Partnership countries and Central Asia to support their efforts to shift towards a greener, low-carbon and energy-efficient economy. I'm sorry I'm not with you in person today. I would very much like to have been, but we're at that time of the year when everyone is trying to fit a conference in before the summer break. So I'm only here virtually, but I would like to close by wishing you all a very fruitful discussion, and I look forward to hearing the results of the meeting. Thank you.